So I want to come back and I'm going to ask you to write some notes later on.
Sure.
And this is not so much for now, but for next September. When you think of the training process and thinking about each of you individually from where you started, and two perspectives on this, where you started from where you see yourself now, so looking back, and where you started coming out of the summer and looking forward, because those are two different perspectives. And then what we did from a training standpoint, just your general comments on your own points of view, on yourself, on the training, what you reacted to positively, what you reacted to negatively. And at any time I'll shut this off if you'd like.
Yeah, the only thing that I would change, and I think that okay, because for me, like, language is an issue, so for me it's much easier to memorize some parts so I can say naturally when I'm presenting. For example, the beauty of Facebook is that we can target our campaign based on geography
Yep.
and interest, those things. Those lines, I memorize them. And I wish I could have memorized it like earlier, because for me, at the end of the training, when we were when the competition was coming and getting close, like for me it was a lot of stress trying to get all those points together, and I think that would have been much easier and more natural if I did it before.
Okay. So sort of pick up modules or blocks
Throwaways.
that you can. Okay.
Exactly, like
All right.
standard things that I can use for any case.
Okay. How about you? Well, we'll come back to that question. Go ahead.
You want
For
my
you?
overall?
Yeah, your overall, just like she did.
Intense, but paid off significant dividends in the end.
But what would you change?
I would change anything. If not, if there's more availability for next year's team, throw in an extra hour or two a week maybe. You're kidding me.
Really? That is so funny.
I want to hear some Christmas music.
Okay. Yeah, it sort of sounds like elevators. Sorry for the distraction. What was that again?
Like I said, intense paid off major dividends, and the only thing I change is it's not really a change. It's if next year's team has more flexibility or availability, even build on it a bit more if you can.
Who? Yours or mine?
Your
Yours.
team. Your team. For the training.
No.
Would you say like more time of
More
training?
coaches availability or
No,
more
time.
More player availability and coaches availability, just trains
Yeah.
more.
train more?
But I think that I would disagree a little bit with that, because we train like
Wouldn't be the
20
first time.
hours. we train like 17 hours a week. Like,
Not with me. Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
You wouldn't, you
You're
don't
in
count
this
it,
room
but
for
it
like
was
4 or 5 hours a day.
a day. That was a lot, and I loved it. I'm not gonna, but I think that more time, I think that it's more like between us, I would put a little bit of time if they had more time.
Yeah.
With coaches, I think that is okay.
Plus, it also comes down to room availability
Of
as
course,
well. If we
availability.
can get more room availability, it'd make it easier for players to get together on their own time. Plus, training sessions
true.
within one room without any disruptiveness or anything like that.
Okay.
What was I going to say before I said that though? I can't remember. Thanks a lot.
Sorry.
Okay. Now, how about your individual perspectives from August rolling in versus now looking back?
I can't explain. I can't explain with words. Like, it's 300% change. Like, I can, like, okay, I'm gonna give you an example. For, like, in my academic perspective, tomorrow I have a presentation that is worth a lot, and I should have prepared like a long time ago for the fact that it's a lot of content and everything. But now I think I was able to memorize and set up a presentation in 1 hour, in which I had no idea before. So I haven't studied on anything, because I know that 1 hour before, you know, in that way that helps me to manage my stress, because I'm a really stressed person. But now I'm not that much, and I think that you agree in that part, because before I used to do everything with a lot of time and I stress a lot, but now I know that I have
But the
time.
stress a lot, just to put it in perspective from my standpoint, because I taught you in the summertime as well in the fall, is your stress was not standing up in front of people as much as it was standing up in front of people and preparing all this stuff to the incredibly high standards that you had for the work you were doing in the summers.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to come back to a comment you made to me another time you can explain that.
Yeah.
So, but that's sort of how you progress from the beginning to the end. The interesting piece or the piece that I am interested in is when you looked at the OCMC coming, and the only reference you had was what you heard from other people. Your perspective coming in, how is that different now coming out?
I think that for me it met and exceeded all my expectations, really.
Were there any differences?
I'm the one that sold you on some of these things. How dare you?
What?
You consulted me in the summer for OCMC, what it's like, and I'm just like,
Very good, yeah. Yeah, because I have friends from years before, and I also asked Dan like many times when
But
I was in
experiencing
summer.
it is different.
It's completely different. It's like the excitement, like just be part of the team is a huge, I don't know, it's a huge honor. Yes, because you feel different, you're part of something that not like 70 students couldn't be able to make it to the team. So in that point, I feel really proud. And also the coaching, the fact that we were able to have one-to-one coaching with a marketing professor that has been many years in the industry and know a lot about marketing content, that helped me a lot. And also the fact that I was able to do a pitch every time that we presented, something that I'm not gonna be able to do it in many years.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me feel that industry and real marketing experience that I'm gonna have in my work life and that.
Okay, your point?
summarizing where I was to where I am now. Where do I start?
And while that's true too, what I also want is your perspective
Okay,
coming in as a returning.
I'll start with that.
Okay.
So obviously I have had a different perspective coming in as a returning guy because I've experienced this.
Stay closer.
Sorry. I did come in obviously with a degree of confidence because I did do it last year and a degree of comfort. But I still didn't really know what I was getting into with IMC in particular because last year I think we were training probably 6 to 8 hours a week tops at best, like two 2-hour training sessions, and then I don't know if I should be saying this on camera. 2 2-hour training sessions with my coach plus a couple extra hours with my partner. So I came in probably thinking that maybe throw a couple extra hours on that total, and then the first week rolled around when we didn't do our work, and then the next week we got slapped in the face with an extensive start, and I wasn't expecting that, but I was still receptive to it and open to it just because I wanted to do well. And then that was me coming in, so I was a little bit confident, maybe too confident at times, and not sure what IMC was like, but very open to doing it and excited to do it. Now, where I came from to where I am now, I did have some experience, but it opened my eyes to the fact that I still didn't have enough, and I still had a ton to learn, a ton to pick up, and a ton of things that I already had that I had to refine and improve upon, presentations for example. And not only did I go leaps and bounds with regard to presentation and the content of IMC and just OCMC in general, I did get good life skills and values and knowledge of just general things like dealing with people and communication and stuff, just from you and Peter passing that down onto me. A couple conflicts that we've had internally that we've tried to avoid and resolve under the carpet ourselves. So it's taught me a whole lot on a broader range as well that I'm going to take on throughout the rest of my life and career and hold on to those values and use them in the future to keep myself out of trouble and do well and succeed.
I have a couple more questions. How did you feel when I was pretty firm up front on certain things that I'd wanted you to do or consider, and some things that I didn't want you to do or consider. And I had individual conversations with you both on a regular basis as well as collective. More that there wasn't a distraction in the line of communication. At least that was from my side. But in terms of stay focused, stay quiet, stay out of the radar, do your work, get going, please don't be team captains, et cetera, et cetera. And there was more. So how did you feel about some of the comments that I made or the requests that I had or how I said them?
Okay, can I start? Okay. In my opinion, I think as I said in the Dean's dinner, like you are like our father, you know, you're our bodyguard. You're always protecting us. So at the beginning, like I just knew you from my summer class, but I wasn't sure about what is coach role, what is the difference, but I could notice at that time because I saw that you actually care about us and you want us to stay out of trouble. So the fact that you at the beginning of training and everything, you told us like, please do this and do that. I saw you as a mentor and I didn't see it as any negative way. I think I thank you for the fact that you always try to keep us out of trouble.
Tough to do.
Yeah.
I fully appreciate how you handled everything up front. I'm the kind of person, and I think you may be the same as well, how you just lay the ground rules, clear expectations up front. So we know personally what's right and wrong, what we have to do, what we don't have to do, what we shouldn't be doing, what we should avoid. And for the rest of the training schedule, it always lingers at the back of your mind when you encounter something that may be questionable, keeps us on the right track. Overall, very good. You handled it well, in my opinion, and I liked it all.
And I want to add the last thing, the fact that you opened that conversation with us from the beginning, like that you settled that trust. I think that is really important because you did it at the beginning and it kept showing in the rest of the training. Because every time that we knew that we had the trust to share with you any event that could happen outside the training, so it's important.
Bunch of kids out there. And there's lunch. Courier delivered?
Hello, can I pass that to you?
Do I have to sign for it?
What?
Courier, right?
Huh?
Courier.
Do I get a tip?
No.
No. Then no.
So the other question I have is that old adage, you know, you give enough rope to somebody to hang themselves. So after the first week, a little bit of a wake-up call. Too hard? A wake-up call?
No. But again, that comes down to our personalities as well. Like, what happens if next year you have two people that may be more sensitive? I don't know, but for us, it was perfect.
That's the thing.
I'm
That is complete. That depends a lot on the personalities.
all for tough love though.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you had an extra hit. Do you want to comment about that?
Sure. The discussion we had in private where I referenced
Yeah.
certain other individuals.
No, the one.
No. I mean like the other individuals that may not have been able to handle it as well.
Yeah, but I'm more wanting to get to when I thought that as a team starting, that you were going to be, and you were a good mentor for Deanna, and you were plodding along in your progress, and she was putting in a full court press, and she started to pass you, and we had that conversation.
Yep.
In terms of overall performance. So I'm interested in your feedback because that was sort of a difficult decision for me to talk to you. And even though I talked to you, and I'll tell you now, I think I did tell you eventually, but I also talked to Deanna too to tell her that I was having this conversation, but she didn't have the whole conversation, she just knew, because I needed her to be sensitive to what you had to do, because you still had to be a team, and I judged you as being a team. But anyway, that was still a rude awakening for you. Or maybe it was.
In the sense, in the first, we spoke about it, in the first hour, you're always going to kind of be a little bit bitter to getting the hard reality pretty much slapped in your face. But after that, when you start thinking about it, when I started thinking about it, I was more disappointed in myself than anything else with the potential that I could let down the team. And then I just thought, okay, this is what I have to do. This is what you have told me to do. This is what I'm missing out on, what I'm not doing right now. Let's fix it. Let's get moving. So overall, it was a very good discussion, very good reality check, very timely in the sense that it wasn't too late. And it was overall, it had a positive effect in the end. After after a couple hours of the discussion, had its positive effect. And I think we wouldn't have been able to present as well that day if we didn't have that discussion, you and I. So.
My observation is yes for you alone, but the risk, aside from talking to you the way I did, like just straight up,
Yep.
was including Diana, because the added pressure was how she communicated that to you. Because if she didn't do it sensitively to you, the team would have more disintegrated or gone apart. But at that moment, or a meeting or two afterwards, what I saw was a team coming actually more together, more supportive. And you were doing that anyway, but you really started to collide in terms of coming together. I mean, that was a milestone moment for me to watch you two.
And with the openness within our team member.
Did you almost say my friend?
No, I said my team member, but another team member. I'm trying to speak in general. It's good and all to let them know what's going on to some degree without getting into the details or the situation, which I agree with. Just keeping them open. The way you handle it overall, though, I think it all worked well.
Two last points that I can think of right now. You said something to me, Dana, at the dinner that I repeated anonymously on a couple of occasions, and once I attributed it to you, which was basically you going, I think you said, I'm a geek. No, I'm a nerd.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a nerd. I can get 4.5 because I can just dedicate myself to study. Can you just go through that again?
Yes. Okay, in my first 3 semesters of college, I got 2 semesters, I don't remember. I got 4.5 sharp, like the highest GPA that anyone can get. And I might feel proud about it, but not as much, because now my GPA is like 4.3 or something, but I feel much. Shut up. I feel much more proud now because with a 4.5, what I did is just memorize the stuff, and you definitely can get 4.5 if you memorize the entire book. You don't have to do anything else. But when you come to do a competition that actually requires to apply your knowledge that you have been trying to learn throughout all the semesters, and also to actually present in front of people that know about what's going on in the marketing industry, is a completely different perspective. It's something that you actually have to apply what you memorized in the last 5 semesters, and it's not just about memorizing. I think that now I feel much more proud about myself than I did before, even though I don't have the best GPA that anyone can get. What else do you want me to say?
No, I thought it was such a spectacular comment you made to me. And we all do this as coaches for different reasons. And when you said that to me, like I don't think you could have said anything better for the end of.
Mm-hmm.
And then a conversation you and I had, I think, on Monday. And I don't think I've shared this with you, Dan. One of the comments, I think we evolved to it. I'm not even sure who made it. Clearly there's disappointment that you didn't get to the podium. And part of that disappointment is knowing that you are a superior team to any IMC team that I've seen. And one of them got a 3rd place. So, by rights you should have been at least 2nd, if not 1st. Just in comparison. And then when I see you as individuals, and there's so many things that I could talk to you about, and I have in some, in terms of your accomplishments and where you have grown as people. But one of the things when I was listening to Deanna on Monday was I really felt that how she was describing some things, that had you won the medal, we'd still be waving it around because it's a big deal. And we would love to have the medal. There's no question we'd love to have the medal. But what I found was you drawing on things that happened along the way that became such valuable little nuggets that all is not lost. In fact, there seem to be ways that you're savoring more pieces along the way in your journey than you might have had you won the medal. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's true. I don't think we would consider half as much as the good stuff that's happened over the last 10, 11 weeks as we would now if we'd won the medal. So we'd be too concerned with, here's my nice OCMC trophy, we won OCMC, this is what we did on that day, it was great, we had an awesome plan, and that's that. Whereas now we kind of get to reflect more so on the last 10, 11 weeks, all the bumps and hurdles and challenges and good times and high moments and low moments throughout the last 10 weeks, and what we did well, what we said that was funny, what we said that was embarrassing. So there's all the good stuff. I think we get to savor it a whole lot more. And even like you got a call from text system or a message from text system, Nicole Brocklebank, right?
Yeah.
How's that going?
No, should I say it? I'm not gonna get it. I'm not gonna, because,
Well, we'll do this off that one
yeah.
off camera. But no, but just to have the call
Yeah.
is a nice
Yeah,
compliment and
100%.
the contacts. Okay. Anything else you wanna for next year's group?
Yes, I wanna add a last thing, because like for first time people that comes to the team, like I don't know if for returning team is the same, because for me, I want them to be like calm for the fact that at the beginning they're gonna feel really nervous, and they're gonna feel like they're not gonna be able to do it or perform well the day of the presentation of the competition. When the competition comes, they're gonna self-doubt themselves a lot, above all at the beginning and at the end when the competition is coming. But don't worry, you're prepared. You have worked a lot. And the last thing that I want to say is about the partner. It's really hard at the beginning when they decide to put two completely different people together. They just tell you, and the coaches too. They tell you, this is your coach, this is your partner. You know, like, do whatever you have to do, but you have to deal with it. But I think that, like, at the beginning, we were trying to know each other and build that trust between our partners. I met you, like, I knew you from before, so it wasn't that a big deal. However, the relationship is completely different from summertime to now. But regarding our partners, thing is that don't worry, at the beginning it's gonna be hard, you know, to get along, and you're gonna have differences. You're not gonna know how to tell him, like, stop things, you know, like really hard feedback, but you're gonna learn and like be how you say it? Empathy.
How would you say that?
Yeah. Be empathetic. No?
That works for me.
That and nothing else. I think now he's my friend, so.
After that rant, I don't know about that anymore.
I didn't say anything bad.
All I heard was difficult, hard,
It
maybe
was
horrible.
hard. It
Trying to
was
tell
hard.
him
But
to
now
stop
we're
doing
friends.
things.
I think
Yeah.
that now you're a really good friend of mine.
You're alright.
I hate you.
And the challenges continue.
The last comment, how about the team? Any comments on the team, your relationship with the overall team, not just you as individuals, but
If you
the good, the bad, suggestions?
if you got a couple close friends on a team, stay with them, obviously, but keep a distance from everything else and all the nonsense. Stay out of all the problems, all the drama, all the gossip, and focus on IMC, and your own team, and work at it, and you'll be successful.
Yeah.
Now, sorry.
I just wanted to say, if you have the chance to motivate them or to help them with anything that won't affect you, do it. But when their problems or their issues start to affect you, like your performance and everything, stay away. Like,
Done?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
If you turn off the camera, I'll make one more comment.